India and China holding the 19th round of the Corps Commander talks at the Chushul Moldo meeting point on the Indian side, where the Indian focus will be on de-escalation and withdrawal of Chinese troops from the Depsang Plains. I'll do another video once details are out about the meeting and if there is any progress at all. Remember that this meeting is happening ahead of the Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to India for the G20 summit, and hence the expectation is really high. But we'll have to wait and watch to see whether there is any actual development or a positive outcome on the ground. While we have heard a lot about the army and its response to the Chinese aggression, there is one force which is not often talked about despite the crucial role it played. Over 3 years after the Galwan clash that saw the Indian Air Force ferrying in over 68,000 additional troops along with nearly 90 tanks and over 300 infantry combat vehicles into the icy heights of Ladakh, the Indian Air Force remains in operational ready format in the area. The operational ready format refers to fighter aircraft being deployed in Ladakh and elsewhere close to the line of actual control with China that is fully loaded and can be airborne in a matter of 5 to 7 minutes in case of an operational need. Fully loaded here means that the aircraft is fueled and live munitions are on board. Now, sources in the Defence and Security Establishment told ThePrint that at times even 5 to 7 minutes can be very long, and hence the Air Force was maintaining combat air patrol, commonly known as CAPS, close to the LAC and continues to maintain an offensive posture as a deterrence to let the other side, which is obviously China, know that any action will be challenged. Giving an overview of the Indian military response to the Galwan incident, sources said that while men and equipment were pumped in fast, the credit goes to the IAF's transport fleet. From the Russian origin AN-32s and the IL-76 to the American C-17s and the C-130J aircraft, the entire fleet was deployed to help the Indian military build up in response to the Chinese action in 2020. Along with this, transport helicopters like the Russian Mi-17s and the American Chinooks were also deployed, which allowed last mile connectivity to extremely forward posts. With connectivity remaining an issue, sources said that the IAF was roped in to help in the immediate push of men and equipment. Giving statistics, they said that the strategic airlift included multiple divisions of the Indian Army in excess of 68,000 troops, 330 BMPs and 90 tanks. It had airlifted about 9,000 tons of men and equipment into Ladakh. Sources added that more equipment and men were eventually brought in by the road since the immediate need was taken care of. The men and the equipment were first brought to Leh, from where it was further airlifted to advanced landing grounds, that is the ALGs, using specialized planes and helicopters. As reported by ThePrint earlier, there are 3 ALGs in Ladakh and the one in Neoma is now been upgraded with a 2.7 km long cemented runway that will enable the fighter aircraft operations besides larger transport aircraft. The IAF had its task cut out. The first and foremost was to strengthen the deterrent military posture of India by fast induction of platforms, troops and weaponry. The second was to maintain credible forces and sustain the deployed forces besides monitoring enemy built-up. Asked how the IAF maintained its credible deterrence capabilities, sources explained that it was achieved through a mix of fighter aircraft deployment and specialized radars and air defense weaponry. The Air Force deployed in an offensive and defensive manner to counter China's strategy of anti-access area denial, famously known as the A2AD, which seeks to inhibit the enemy's freedom of movement in the battlefield through a wide range of surface-to-air missile sites, long-range radars, apart from large number of soldiers, artillery, rocket forces and armoured elements. For IAF's ground staff and specialists, Ladakh marked the first time they were deployed in extreme high altitude areas along the LAC close to the site of friction. Small and heavy radars along with air defense missiles with ranges of over 100 kilometers were flown in and deployed at multiple locations along the LAC to target enemy movement. The IAF was also went in for faster operationalization of the Rafale fighter jets soon after they came in July 2020. It went in for the emergency procurement of the French Hammer air-to-ground precision-guided weapon system as well as to deploy the Rafale faster. The fighters that were pushed for offensive and defensive postures were the Rafale, the Su-30 MKI and the upgraded MiG-29s known as the MiG-29 UPGs. Besides this, the Jaguars were also deployed for surveillance along with Su-30 MKI because they come with specialized equipment that can record and click pictures of enemy positions of nearly 70 to 80 kilometers in depth. Besides this, the Air Force has deployed its drones for both visual surveillance of enemy positions as well as for intelligence, and which includes electronic surveillance. The IAF has also deployed the satellite-linked Heron Mark II that was bought from the Israelis under emergency procurement last year along the LAC. Sources said that these drones with excellent surveillance and electronic intelligence gathering capabilities of over 30 hours of flying continuously have proved valuable. The Heron 2s can also be weaponized if need be, and the work on this is already on. Do subscribe to The Print for more such videos.